What the heck?
You're living off my money, and yet you're making me eat such disgusting food.
To my horror, my husband suddenly threw hot soup at me. I had enough. Fine, I'm leaving. The next day, he called me non-stop, to which I paid no attention. As a result, he ended up in a pit of hell. My name is Kathy. I'm a 28-year-old homemaker. When I got married to Eric just last year, I quit my job. Now I work hard taking care of the household and supporting him as much as possible. I keep our home squeaky clean and try to be creative with my cooking every day. Eric works diligently and earns a decent income for us. While we don't have an affluent lifestyle, we live comfortably and often go out together on his days off. We first met at work. Although we were in different departments, we hit it up during an office party and grew closer over time. He was a salesperson, always busy and constantly on the move. He seemed cheerful and reliable, and I've secretly admired him. So when he first spoke to me, I was ecstatic. After that, he continued to initiate conversation with me at work, and we exchanged our phone numbers. He started inviting me out, and soon he told me that he had feelings for me, and we became an item. I never expected such a turn of events, and it made me realize that life was full of surprises. Our relationship progressed smoothly. We kept it a secret in the office, which added more fire to our romance. He was so loving and sweet during our courtship, and I always cherished the fun times we had together. About a year into our relationship, he popped the question.
I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?
I was over the moon at his proposal. Of course, I said yes, and we decided to tie the knot. I wanted to get married in my 20s, so it was my wish come true. We wasted no time introducing each other to our families, and then had a beautiful wedding ceremony. We weren't into anything lavish, so we had a modest and budget-friendly one. It suited us perfectly, and became a memorable and blissful wedding. Whenever I look at the wedding photo that's displayed in our living room, it reminds me of that day, making me smile. I remember how thrilled I was about the start of our new life together. Our honeymoon period was as euphoric as it could be. Even now, after a year of being married, we are so in love, and I have no doubt that we'll continue to have happy days ahead. Though, Eric's been acting strange lately. It's hard to explain, but he doesn't seem interested in having a conversation with me. Even when I try to initiate it, his responses are short and simple. Oh, you're home. I found a good deal on chicken, so I made fried chicken today.
Great.
How is work?
Okay.
He doesn't engage in conversation, and I've started to find it difficult to bring up topic. Our dinner table becomes uncomfortably silent. When it's completely quiet, you can even hear the sounds of cars passing by outside. I then turn on the TV while trying to engage him in conversation, but he doesn't seem interested and quickly retreats to his room after eating. As I wash the dishes alone in the kitchen, I wonder what has gotten into him all of a sudden. I'm totally bewildered. Even when I press him to talk, he only gives me vague responses and makes a displeased face. When I get reactions like this, it only makes it even harder to initiate conversations, and I find myself constantly trying to read his mood. Then he starts complaining about my housework.
Jeez, what was this dinner? It's too simple. I'm exhausted from working my butt off every day. Give me more meat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it might be a good idea to have some fish for a balanced diet, son. He slams the table so hard and cuts me off. I flinch at the sudden outburst of his anger. He glares at me and starts yelling.
Don't argue with me. You're living on my earnings. Listen to what I say without question.
He shouts with a bright red face. I'm stunned seeing him like this for the first time. What's wrong with you? Why are you getting so angry?
God damn it! Weren't you listening to me? Don't talk without my permission.
Seriously? Shouldn't a husband and wife be equals?
You're being arrogant, saying stuff like that while I'm the one providing for you. You need to be disciplined.
Disciplined? What do you mean?
I'm going to control the food budget. It's going to be $100 this month.
Huh? That's too little. I can't even cover one person with that.
Don't you dare talk back every time. You will have to make it work.
But if it's that low, even you won't be able to eat properly.
I will buy what's lacking myself, while you prepare dinner for the both of us. Make sure it's something I find satisfying. If it doesn't meet my standards, I will further reduce the budget.
But he wears a triumphant look on his face. He seems to enjoy the idea of having control over me. What's making him act this way? I begin to feel anxious about whether I can continue this marriage. Then, I wonder what will happen when I'm alone. If I end up divorcing him, will I be able to survive on my own? Going back to my previous job isn't an option because it means working at the same company as him. I'm not confident that I could find a new job easily. While I could manage to get by with part-time work, it would be quite challenging. Besides, I can't give up on us before trying to fix whatever the issue is. Even though he has been treating me unpleasantly, I can't just fall out of love suddenly after being together for some time. Also, it's only been a year since we got married, so I don't want to consider divorce as an option just yet. However, his attitude hasn't changed after that. He has been as cold and domineering as ever. I take a radical approach, making sure that we can get by on just $100 for groceries. For instance, I use cheap ingredients like pasta and rice to add more volume alongside meat, and I often make one-pot dishes to increase the portion size. Thanks to these efforts, I'm managing to cut down our food expenses significantly. Even Eric is surprised to see me working so hard to save.
I'm amazed that you're doing quite well. Keep it up.
He praises me. I wish he could just increase the budget a bit more. I'm afraid that mentioning it might lead to further reduction, so I remain silent and not provoke him. I've also started taking on a side job online during the daytime. Regardless of what happens in the future, I think it would be good to have the ability to earn money on my own. I search for suitable jobs for me and try a variety of them. Among them, there is one where I write articles for a blog. I've been writing about various genres, and it turns out to be something I'm quite good at. There are many introduction type articles, like money-saving tips and recommended movies and plays. Surprisingly, I've been engrossed in it and thought of starting my own blog. So I opted to set up my own blog, even though it cost me some initial money. I write miscellaneous articles, aiming to provide some useful information to the readers. At first, the number of views were obviously low, and it didn't generate any income. Then, it gradually started to attract more readers, and the ad revenue increased. Even earning just a few dollars from my own blog makes me incredibly happy. I've been writing articles non-stop, and before I knew it, I've written hundreds of them. As the number of articles increases, so does the income. Meanwhile, Eric's been coming home later, and there are more days when he doesn't eat dinner at home. So, the time I normally spend on cooking and cleaning up afterward becomes open, which gives me more time to focus on my blog. Having something I can passionately pursue, along with the confidence from earning my own money, reduces my stress. Despite receiving a minimal food budget, I've been managing to provide proper dinners by adding my own earnings. I'm leading a fulfilling life, but my happiness seems to bother Eric. His attitude toward me is getting worse now.
You always have that annoying cheerful smile pasted on your face. Unlike you, I work every day, enjoying unpleasant situations, you know. Being a full-time homemaker, just doing housework and having a leisurely time seems carefree and nice, huh? But do you understand that you can live this way because of my money?
He shouts, his face red with anger. I know better than to provoke him when he's being unreasonable. Yes, I do. I know I can't live without you.
If you understand, then stop acting in a way that irritates me.
Yes, I'm sorry. When I become more submissive, he gradually improves his mood, and further arguments become less frequent. Sometime after that, I make a discovery when I'm about to do the laundry. It's a receipt from a designer's brand store, found in Eric's pants pocket. What's more, it's for a woman's handbag. I can't fathom what's going on. I certainly haven't received such an expensive bag. That's when it hit me. My birthday is coming up soon. Could it be that he has secretly bought it for me? The thought excites me. Despite his recent cold shoulders, he still cares for me. From then on, I've been using my earned income to add a little extra to our food budget, allowing for more luxurious meals. He seems content, and he happily comments,
"We've been having some delicious dinners lately."
About a week passes, and my birthday arrives. However, when I say good morning, he simply responds with a casual greeting and says nothing more. I wonder if he has a surprise planned for the evening, so I keep quiet. For dinner, I think I'm making steak and buying some slightly expensive cuts of meat. When he returns home, I prepare the meat and serve it with a nice bottle of red.
Whoa, steak tonight, huh? Even a red wine. This is great.
I thought we'd treat ourselves a bit tonight.
Good call. Keep it coming.
He says that with enthusiasm as he eagerly digs into the steak. But wait, nothing else? I watch in disbelief as he continues eating without saying anything. Then, he seems to notice my gaze and wears a confused expression.
What's wrong? Aren't you eating?
Oh, well, do you remember what day it is today? He ponders for a moment and then gives up.
No, I don't. Was there something special?
It's my birthday.
Oh, oops, sorry, I forgot.
He looks slightly awkward, realizing he has forgotten his wife's birthday.
I've been really busy at work, you know. I even forget my own birthday. I don't remember until someone reminds me. So, it's your birthday, huh? Happy birthday. Let's make a toast.
He clinks his wine glass against mine. Then he goes back to enjoying his steak. At this moment, I became certain that branded handbag he bought isn't for me. It's for someone else. I made up my mind to hire a private investigator to look into his affair. Within about 2 weeks, they gathered plenty of evidence confirming his infidelity. Indeed, he's having an affair, and there are multiple pictures of him going to hotels with his mistress. I've anticipated it, but when I actually confirmed the truth, It is truly shocking. Since then, I've been preparing for a divorce from Eric. I consult with a lawyer, pack my things, and get ready to return to my parents' house. At this point, I don't want to cook decent meals for a cheating husband, so I quickly lower the quality of our meal. Initially, he looks puzzled as he eats those simple meals, but when another frugal dinner follows the next day, his mood worsens further.
Hey, haven't our dinners been awful the past few days? You were serving generous stuff like steaks before.
There's not enough money. We have to make do with a tight food budget.
What did you say?
His face turns crimson, clearly not liking my tone.
Who do you think you are, giving an attitude to me?
Again, are you going to play the authoritarian husband? What you're doing is nothing but mental abuse. There's no respecting that.
Don't you dare! Are you insulting me?
What the heck?
You're living off my money, and yet you're making me eat such disgusting food.
To my horror, he suddenly throws soup at me.
I thought you'd behave yourself for a while, but you're getting cocky again. I won't give you a single cent for food anymore.
He shouts angrily. I have reached my breaking point. Fine, I'm leaving.
Yeah, get out!
I'd already packed my bags, so I walked out immediately. I get into my car and head to my parents' house. They already knew about my plans to divorce, so they welcomed me with open arms. The next day, Eric bombards me with calls, but I ignore them all. He probably didn't believe that I'd actually leave. Perhaps he thinks I will spend some time away and eventually return on my own. Not in a million years. As a result, he will end up in a pit of hell. I quickly find a good divorce lawyer. I've shown proof of his affair and explained in detail about the mental abuse I had received, not to mention the incident with the soup, which, while not boiling hot, was hot enough to warrant as an assault charge. Eric and I have been communicating through our respective lawyers. He is surprised by the extent of my demands and the evidence I provided for the affair. Initially resistant, he came to realize that he couldn't overturn the situation, and he had to accept the divorce and compensation. I spoke to my ex-colleagues who still work with him, which had the intended consequence of exposing his true nature in his office. While he has portrayed himself as a wholesome character, the revelation of his temper and violence has resulted in others keeping their distance, and his reputation has suffered a considerable blow. Under these circumstances, it inevitably becomes difficult for him to climb the career ladder, and it's safe to say that his path to success has been closed off. Frankly, I think it serves him right, and it's a consequence of his own action. By the way, my income from the blog has started to exceed $1,000 per month, and I can now cover the bare necessities of life with my blog earnings alone. In addition to that, I work a part-time job 3 days a week, and with both sources of income, I'm earning around $1,800 steadily. Since I live with my parents, I can save most of it, increasing my assets. I'm not planning on getting into dating or marriage anytime soon. Instead, I want to cherish the time with my parents while dedicating myself to my work.
Get lost, Leech. You're not even family.
They hit me with that shade, arms crossed, no budging. The wheels started turning. Maybe it's time to peace out, and I spilled the beans to my hubby. In no time, he mapped out our exit strategy from his folks' pad. Down the road, the good old mill buzzed me, spitting fire, but hubby and I pressed mute and zoned into our groove. The universe had a way of serving some karma to the in-laws and sis-in-law. I'm Adeline, clocking in at 34 and rocking the remote work life. The universe dropped my guy, Tim, into my lap during a group blind date shindig. I've been on the timid side with romance. One past BF and that's the tally. My early grind left zilch time for dating, and the remote gig didn't exactly scream social butterfly. Concerned friends orchestrated the group gig, and bam, in came Tim. Typically I'd clam up around dudes, but Tim, he was all ears, tuning into my convo frequency. Other guys would check out or get antsy if I fumbled with words, cranking up my man jitters. With Tim, though, it flowed. Felt like he crafted this cozy chat bubble for me. Egged on my buddies, I went out on a limb and slid him my number. We grabbed some grub and, like clockwork, he was in sync with my talk tempo. Slowly, the chat floodgates opened. He lit up, dropping.
Feels like I'm vibing with the OG Adeline. You're a whole vibe. Love our hangouts.
Nobody had dished out such props to me, so I was floating. I got swept up in the feels. After a bunch of dinners and outings, he laid his cards out. When Tim popped the let's make it official question, I glowed tomato red. But man, was I on cloud 9. That's our love origin story. When I shared the scoop with my friends, they were ecstatic. Called it! You two are the real deal. Don't ghost me on that wedding invite. Whoa, step on the brakes. Wedding's way out there in the unknown. Come on, you're prime wedding material. I bet Tim's playing the long game. For real? Be on high alert for that ring. And brush up on those wifey skills. Okay, chill. Taking a page out of my friend's playbook, I thought time to level up my kitchen game. Living alone meant my cooking was, well, basic. You know, whip up something quick, scarf it down, rinse and repeat. But cooking for who? Game on. With my WFH perks, I dialed into the culinary universe. YouTube became my guru. From the looks of it, anyone could whip up gourmet stuff with the right tutorial. Some dishes were no sweat and tasted like 5-star goodies. The more I dabbled, the better I got. Soon, recipes took a backseat. Tim and I were cruising relationship lane, and D-Day arrived. Time to plate up. I dished out the beef stroganoff I'd been stewing over, and he was all heart eyes.
This is top notch. Seriously, the best beef stroganoff I've had.
Really?
You're whipping up some chef-level stuff here. Someone's future spouse is in for a treat.
Wait, spouse?
Totally. Adeline, you've got a rad vibe. You're a blast. That cooking game's on point. Plus, you're raking in the dough. You're the full package.
Me? The full package?
Absolutely. Honestly, I pinch myself wondering why a catch like you is with a dude like me.
Come on, I'm the one always wondering if you're genuinely cool with being with regular old me. I don't think I stand out, and I'm no supermodel.
Are you for real? I was smitten from the start.
You were into me from the get-go?
100%. That's why I was a ball of nerves at that social gig. Our first dinner, I was so jittery I couldn't even taste the food.
That floored me. I figured I was the solo jitterbug, but here he was, equally in the frazzle zone. Felt like this revelation just tore down a wall. Like we were on the same wavelength. We're kinda two peas in a pod, huh?
Couldn't have said it better.
Tim, I'm in this for the long haul.
Me too. Look, Adeline, I didn't come prepped with a sparkly rock, but I can't bottle this up. Will you marry me?
Of course, I'm in. Joy overload. Sure, looking down a future with my main squeeze was a biggie, but realizing we were both all in, with our quirks and hang-ups, was pure gold. I mean, the chances of bumping into someone this in tune are slim to none. This is going to sound super cheesy, but he's got soulmate stamped all over him. So, next on the docket was meeting the parents, but he gave me a heads up.
My family's kinda out there. If they toss some curveballs, I've got your back. Just shake it off, okay?
Okay. I won't lie, that flag had me on edge. If Mr. Sweetheart had to flag me down, I was bracing for a wild ride. D-Day with his clan rolled around. Hello, I'm Adeline. Step on in, came his mom's clipped greeting. Yeah, I got a vibes check real quick. In the lounge, his dad and sis held court. Here's your other half, Tim. Looks pretty vanilla to me.
Well, apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
Their snark hit me like a freight train.
Whoa, back up. Why go 0 to rude? Say you're sorry. Adeline didn't sign up for this.
Why's your lid flipped?
Can't handle a little ribbing? Not when it's straight up bizarre for a first meet.
Okay, we heard you.
Swear, our kid's high-strung.
My jaw was on the floor. How was this the treatment on Tim's home turf? Enter stage left, another guy.
Cut the crap. That was out of line. Pops.
Turns out the guy Tim's dad labeled Pops was Granddad. The homestead was his domain, and it seemed Tim's folks and sis were crashing, all under the guise of looking out for wheelchair-bound Granddad.
Hey there, I'm Tim's granddad. It's awesome to have such a fantastic fiancé joining the crew.
Hello, I'm Adeline. Man, Grandpa was a real gem. His smile was just like Tim's. Gotcha, Tim must have gotten his chill vibe from his grandpa. Grandpa's aura flipped the iffy mood to chill mode real quick. The official intro to the family's sesh wrapped up and everything went well. I was kind of on edge about his family tossing shade at mine, but after hashing it out, we picked a swanky joint for the meet and greet. His crew dove headfirst into the grub. Guess the fabulous food set the mood because there wasn't a snarky word in sight. Fast forward, we had our big I do day. Our matchmaker buddies showed up, and yep, Grandpa was in the house. My friends raved about our killer wedding vibes, and Grandpa? He was all misty-eyed, beaming at Tim. Feeling that pride? Worth every second. Post-nuptials, we jetted off for the honeymoon and settled into the married life groove when we got back. Being a work-from-home gal, I rocked the home front. But on mad busy days, hubby would be like,
Chill, I got this.
Then he'd whip up dinner, tidy up, or hit the laundry. Gotta love those hubby MVP moments. Weekends were filled with road trips, and soaking up those newlywed vibes. Things were sailing smooth, then bam! In-laws ring in with a curveball.
Grandpa's taking a turn for the worse. You two need to step up.
Man, felt like they were passing the caretaker baton without a heads up.
Whoa, wait, Grandpa was sick? And you've been living on his dime saying you're looking after him. Why the sudden bat signal? Just suck it up and help out.
Hubby's protest didn't faze them. They were gunning for us to move in. We were super stressed about Grandpa. The in-law hotline was buzzing non-stop, nudging us to relocate. So we made the move.
If they get snippy, let me know.
Will do. Appreciate it. Having Tim in my corner was a game changer. Once we nested, with me being home, his family pegged me for the chore champ. Mom-in-law was chilling, dad-in-law was retired, sis-in-law was kind of floating job-wise, but all chores are, of course, on me. Knew this might go down, so I jigsawed work and chores. But silver lining was Grandpa chats during care time. His family's handoff vibe meant free flow talks with the old man. Despite the chore hustle, those Grandpa moments were heartwarmers. Post-work, Tim would roll up his sleeves for care and chores. Grandpa played defense if the family tried to trash talk during meals. It kept the snark level in check. We juggled the family chaos. Then Grandpa pitched.
With you guys here, let's jazz up the digs for you two.
He was talking full-scale renovation and extra space. I was feeling kind of guilty, but his family was all in.
When's go time?
Let's rock in the Reno stat. The family's hype caught us off guard, But hey, a peaceful workspace? I'm down. Renovation wheels started turning. In the meantime, we bunked in a rented pad, still juggling all chores and care. Watching the do-nothing squad move into a fresh space was kind of irksome. But it's family. Roll with it, right? Time zoomed and bam, renovation masterpiece unveiled. Walking into our revamped haven was a wow moment. For all he did, Tim and I shot Grandpa the biggest thank you ever.
Thank you so much, Grandpa Ben. You're a lifesaver. Don't mention it. It's the least I can do for you and Adeline.
Come on, we're always grateful for your help.
Really? That means a lot to me.
We gave Grandpa Ben all the thanks, but my in-laws and sis-in-law were radio silent, just goofing around in the updated pad. Their self-centered vibes upped my annoyance. Then out of the blue, Ben's health tanked, and he landed in the hospital. Tim and I bolted there, super stressed. Given he's clocking in at 85, we were always on health watch. We were there every day, but the in-laws weren't. Instead, they griped about me slacking at home.
You're always gone. Housework's gone to the dogs.
Worst daughter-in-law ever. Hey, I'm at the hospital, okay? And I do handle things at home. Zip it. Quit the sass. Stay-at-home wife doesn't mean you're queen bee.
Get lost, Leech. You're not even family.
They hit me with that shade, arms crossed, no budging. Chatting with them was useless. Bathing seemed like a plan. I spilled everything to Tim.
This is nuts. Let's loop in Grandpa, then we're out.
We laid it all out to Grandpa Ben, apologizing for the drama, especially after the renovation. He chimed in.
They've had enough passes.
And slid us a plan. Tim and I were game. Fast forward, we were moving. Got a salty call from ma-in-law, but we stayed in our lane, snipped ties. Radio silence on our end. They were cruising for a bruising. Life post-move was smooth sailing. A year zoomed by. Downtown, the in-laws ambush us.
There you are. Tim, we've been in the dumps since you bailed.
They looked rough.
Dad, you okay? What went south?
He asked, cool as a cucumber.
Bills piled up, lights went off, pantries dry. Grandpa ghosted us, then the house was sold.
We got booted out.
Kinda saw that coming, right? You gave Grandpa the cold shoulder and played us. Karma's doing its thing. Cut the talk. Spot us some cash.
Tim laid it out.
FYI, Adeline covered the bills back there. She's banking more from home than me.
What?
You took her for granted and threw shade. We're done. Zip on where we are, where Grandpa's at, or any dough. You milked that cow dry. Stand up and deal. Bye.
They were floored. The sis-in-law shacked up with some guy, then got the boot for freeloading. She is bouncing around, but folks are ducking her. She's nearly homeless now. And the in-laws? They're still living large now, swimming in debt. They've tried reaching out, but we're ghosts. On a high note, Grandpa Ben's on the upswing, chilling at a place close by. We drop by and it's heartwarming seeing him hanging out with new friends. Our plan is to roll with the good vibes, treasure our time with Grandpa Ben, and live our best lives. As a token of my apology, I'll refill the hot water before you guys go into the bath. What? My mother-in-law Tammy surprisingly and mistakenly offered to refill the hot water, but I had a bad feeling about this. Then in no time she said, "The bath is ready," and my daughter and I went to the changing room. Then my son also came running into the changing room. "I'm going in too," he said that as he started to take off his clothes. Seeing this, Tammy looked really impatient. "Hey, wait, George, why are you going into the bath again?" My name is Sarah. I am a 38-year-old housewife. I live with my husband Kyle, my daughter Ruby, and my son George. My daughter is currently in the 3rd grade and my son is in the 1st grade. Both of them are energetic and rambunctious, so the house is lively every day. Although it's very difficult to take care of them, especially since they're so close in age, both of them are so cute that I can say they are my treasures. So all in all, this happy feelings that I have prevails over anything else. My husband also takes care of the kids on his days off, and the children call him Daddy and Papa and are very attached to him. In this way, we are able to build a warm and friendly home together with the kids. However, we are not completely free from problems. And that is my mother-in-law, Tammy. Let's have dinner.
Yay! It's fried chicken! Looks delicious.
Alright, let's eat them since they're freshly fried.
But when it's time to eat, my husband's phone rings.
Who is it? Oh no, it's my mom.
Why at a time like this?
No problem. I'll put it on silent and call back later.
Tammy calls without thinking about other people's schedules. And when my husband opens his phone after finishing dinner...
Oh, there are 10 missed calls.
What? Tammy would keep calling over the phone like this. The number of incoming calls are so much that each time I'm surprised to find out what is going on.
Hello, Mom. What do you want?
Oh, Kyle, finally you answered the phone.
Tammy's joyful and loud voice can be heard over here even if my husband doesn't put his phone to his ear. My husband always puts it on speaker and turns the volume down because it's so loud whenever it's with Tammy.
I thought you were kidnapped or something because I don't hear anything from you, honey.
What? Stop talking nonsense. Anyways, what do you want?
Oh, what was it that I wanted to talk about?
Huh? You left me 10 incoming calls. That's not even important since you can't even remember?
Don't be so angry. I'll call you again if I remember later on.
No, you don't have to do that anymore.
Anyway, how's George doing?
Oh, he's fine.
I haven't seen him for a while, so I miss you both. I really miss George so much. I wish I could see him.
Mom, why do you always talk more about George than Ruby? We have 2 kids. You should treat them equally.
Oh, don't be like that. Of course, I care about Ruby. But George, who'll be our heir, is more important, of course.
Excuse me?
It's inevitable that there'll be differences when loving your family.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, I'm hanging up the phone.
Oh, wait! I just remembered something.
Huh? What is it?
There's that public holiday coming up. It'll be a 10-day holiday, right?
Yeah, looks like it.
Then you can come visit me over here, right?
Huh?
Oh, what do you mean, huh? I haven't seen George in a while, so bring him over. You get to have 10 days off in a row.
You know, that's if you get paid on a weekday. In my case, I usually go to work on weekdays, so I can't take 10 days off as public holiday.
What? No way. Then just come for the first half of that holiday or something.
But even if you say that...
My husband glanced at me. All I could do was make a bitter face.
Let me think about it. I'll call you back.
Oh, hey!
With that, my husband hung up the phone.
What shall we do?
If it were only Tammy at the house, I would immediately decline and get over with this conversation. But my father-in-law, Jack, is also there. Jack is very kind, and the kids call him Grandpa, and we miss him very much. So I would like to let our kids see Jack. But then we would also have to see Tammy, and we were very worried about that.
Well, it's a holiday weekend, so why not at least one day?
Well, okay. Well, it'll be a nice long drive over there too. We came to an agreement and my husband called up Tammy again.
Why did you hang up on me like that?
My husband, perhaps hearing Tammy's high-pitched voice ringing in his ears, quickly separated the phone from his ear and put it on speaker.
Anyway, We'll be over there on the first day of the holiday weekend.
Oh, is that so? How long will you all be here?
What do you mean? It'll be just for the day.
Oh, you mean 2 days and 1 night? You should stay longer.
Huh? We're not staying the night there.
I agreed to Kyle's argument. Spending the night is out of the question. Tammy would probably harass me anyway. The reason why my husband and I are so wary of Tammy is because she has been bullying me for many years before our daughter was born. Eventually, my husband and Jack noticed Tammy bullying me, and after giving her a big lecture, we distanced ourselves from her so that I won't have to be involved with her that much ever again. Whenever I took my kids there for New Year's, Jack and my husband made sure that Tammy and I were never left alone together. But when we stayed overnight, it was a different story. I could not be with Tammy for such a long time. So I appealed to my husband by shaking my head to the side to show my firm refusal.
Why don't you stay over for at least 1 day?
We can't.
While they were talking over the phone like that, the kids came to the living room at a very bad timing. And they reacted to the word staying over.
What? We're spending the night? I want to sleep over.
The kids were so excited to have a sleepover that Tammy seemed to hear them and said in a happy voice,
Then it's settled then.
as she hung up the phone. Since the kids were looking forward to it so much, there was no way we could not spend the night. In the end, my husband and I decided to spend the night at my parents-in-law's house. The first day of the dreaded holiday finally arrived. We started the car in the morning and headed for my in-laws' house. When we arrived, my mother-in-law greeted us with a big smile, but only to my husband and my son.
Kyle, George, welcome, welcome.
My daughter and I were totally ignored by her. Jack immediately came over and greeted my daughter, so we managed not to make her sad, but at this point, I was getting angry at Tammy.
Come on in, and get your stuff over here. We're going to the mall today to buy something for you two, George and Ruby.
When my father-in-law said that, the kids screamed,
Yay!
and they were overjoyed. My husband asked,
Are you sure?
and to that, Jack said,
It's been a long time since I saw my grandchildren. As their grandfather, I wanted to do something for them.
Since we don't get to see him often, we decided to do as he requested. We got to the mall and Jack asked the kids what they wanted.
I want this off-road radio controller.
What? Isn't $50 a little expensive?
That's okay. I'll buy whatever George and Ruby wants, but only one each though.
Then I want this toy camera.
Hey, you also chose this one, which is for $45, which is pretty expensive.
Oh, come on, Sarah. Please don't get mad at them.
I'm sorry.
Alright then, I'll buy them.
Yay!
Wait a minute! As Jack and the kids were happily heading for the cash register, Tammy suddenly stopped them. For some reason, Tammy had gone her separate ways as soon as we arrived at the mall, and now she came back running, out of breath.
This should be for George, right?
Tammy said so and brought a PlayStation with her. My son said,
What? Are you sure?
he was so excited. But my husband Jack and I pulled a face.
Mom, that is indeed too expensive.
That's right. Even the radio controller is expensive enough.
I agree. Go put that back.
Oh, I feel bad for George.
No, it's over our budget.
Then my mother-in-law took a surprising action. She took out the toy camera that was in the basket and handed it back to Ruby.
Ruby, go put this back then.
Hey, Mom, what are you talking about?
If you don't buy this and the radio controller, you can buy the PlayStation, right?
Don't be silly. Then you must feel sorry for Ruby.
It's for George's sake. It can't be helped. Ruby can put up with it because she's a big girl.
But I can see that my daughter is about to cry at any moment.
That's enough. As originally planned, we'll buy them the radio controller and the toy camera. George, you won't be happy if your sister's sad too, right?
Yeah, that's right. You should buy something for Ruby too.
See? George is even saying that. Even our grandchildren are more mature than you. Tammy, you sound more like a child than them.
Jack said such a thing publicly that the other guests were looking at us. And Tammy turned red and said,
Please, don't say anything to embarrass me here.
and quickly went to put the game console back. At any rate, the shopping was taken care of thanks to Jack, but Tammy still seems to be going out of control. After that, we returned to my parents-in-law's house and had a takeout, and a dinner party was held. But neither my husband nor I dared to drink alcohol because we didn't know what was going to happen. Then the meal was over and it was around 8 p.m.
All right, George. Let's take a bath with Grandpa.
Yes, I will.
After the party, Jack took a bath with George.
Aren't you going in, Kyle?
Nah, I'm okay for tonight. I took a shower this morning.
I see. Then Sarah and Ruby are going in next, is that right?
My daughter is scared of Tammy and clings to my back.
Ruby, I'm sorry about earlier. As a token of my apology, I'll refill the hot water before you guys go in the bath.
Huh? Unexpectedly, Tammy apologizes, and then she says,
I'll change the water for you.
This is something that normally should be taken in as kindness. Jack also said,
I am sure my wife is sorry for what happened at the mall, so please, forgive her.
But I had a bad feeling about this. Then after a while, Tammy said,
The bath's ready.
and my daughter and I headed for the changing room. Then my son also came running into the changing room.
I'm going in too.
He said that as he started to take off his clothes. Seeing this, Tammy became impatient.
What? Wait, George. Why are you going back in? You got in the bath already with Grandpa, didn't you? Because I want to go in the pool too.
Huh? Pool? I look at Tammy. She looks very uncomfortable. What does he mean, Tammy?
Huh? Oh, I don't know what he means.
Neither I nor my daughter had undressed yet, so I called my husband and Jack over.
What's wrong?
Oh, honey, it's nothing. Why did Sarah call the two of you for no reason?
George said he wanted to be in the pool too.
Huh?
Doesn't that mean that the bath is filled with cold water instead of hot water?
Ruby, the bath is a little broken right now, so why don't we wait in the living room together?
Yeah.
Hey, what's the meaning of this? You made them a water bath, didn't you?
What? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well then, would you mind stepping away from the bath door?
Well, that's...
Get out of the way. Move!
Jack pushed Tammy away so he could get in to check. Then George gets in and puts his hand in the bathtub.
Ah, it's cold. Hey, it's a full-blown water bath, and it's quite cold. If you jump into a place like this thinking it's hot water, it's not good for your heart at all. What if they get startled, slips in here, and get hurt?
I'm sorry. I thought it was hot water, but I must have poured cold water in by mistake.
Huh? You did it on purpose, didn't you?
No way! I would never do such a thing on purpose.
Neither I nor Jack believed Tammy's words. Hey, George, why did you say pool?
Because my grandma told me that she was going to fill it with water and turn it into a pool. She said she was going to use the toy camera to take a photo of you and Ruby's reactions when getting into the cold water. George!
George completely exposed Tammy's plan. Jack, I'm very angry too, but I don't know what I'm going to do, so can I leave the rest to you?
Yeah, just go to the living room with George for now.
And we went to the living room and turned up the volume on the TV. I could hear Jack's tremendous, angry voice coming from the bathroom. Then Jack came over to us and Tammy, who looked really down, followed behind him.
I'm sorry, Ruby. The bathtub seems to be broken after all. Sarah, Kyle, there's a hotel with a nice bath nearby. Why don't we all stay there today? Of course, I'll have my wife stay at home.
Tammy was wide-eyed and surprised, but when Jack glared at her, she slumped down without saying anything.
Are you sure? I know the manager and the people who work there. I just asked if they had rooms available, and they said they had family rooms and single rooms available. I'll stay in the single room, and you can all stay in the family room. They'll also give me a nice discounted price, so it'll be my treat. We can even have a nice breakfast buffet tomorrow morning.
The kids were excited about being able to go to the nice hotel with a nice bath and the buffet. Since neither my husband nor I had been drinking, we drove to the hotel. We then enjoyed our stay at the hotel. Since Tammy was not there, we were able to enjoy ourselves without any stress. And the next day, my husband and Jack carried our luggage from the house to the car on the way home, so we didn't have to see Tammy at all. Then one day a month later, the intercom suddenly rang on a Saturday afternoon, and when I answered it to see who it was, to my surprise, Tammy. My husband said, "I'll take care of it," and went to talk to her at the door. Tammy was on her knees apologizing to my husband.
I'm sorry I've been so terrible. Please, forgive me.
What the heck do you want?
Jack demanded for divorce and kicked me out of the house.
I already know that. My dad told me.
Well, that makes things easier. Can you please let me stay here?
Huh?
I'll be nice to Sarah and Ruby, so please, let me stay here.
To this, my husband said in a calm voice,
No, I've decided that I won't forgive you anymore. I don't want to see you anymore. And of course, I don't want you to see my kids anymore either.
Oh no, if I don't see George, I'll...
See? Even now you only mention George's name like that, you know? I can't trust your words anymore. If you stay here any longer, I'll call the police on you.
What? Police? Oh no.
If you don't like it, then get out.
Eek!
Tammy then ran away in a panic, frightened. I wonder why she thought she could stay in this house after what she had done. I don't know what Tammy has been doing since then, but I guess she is living in a lonely state without money or family. Well, she got what she deserved, so I don't feel sorry for her. On the other hand, our family is still getting along as well as ever, and now that my mother-in-law is gone, I can visit my father-in-law's house more often. I will continue to support my husband and watch the children grow up. A cold water bath without telling the people who's about to go in is quite dangerous. So indeed, Tammy just got what she deserved. But why was Kyle and Jack sane, but only Tammy was the crazy person out of the family? Well, in any case, I am glad that Sarah and her family succeeded in getting rid of Tammy. I hope she and her family continues to get along well with each other and be happy. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.